y'all, it's your queen J Lotus coming through right quick, right fast with a musical message analysis and reading for EveryWhere. So the name of the song is EveryWhere by Sukihana, aka Suki with the good coochie, yeah ma'am. And this here particular analysis, song, all that, was suggested and requested by a young lad named Karen Jackson. Now, I derived him from this lovely spiritual group that I admin for with another cool spiritual friend of mine on Facebook called Sippy Conjure. And Karen, I hope I'm saying it right, Karen is also a new subscriber. So shout out to Karen Jackson. Double, triple, quadruple shout out to them for suggesting this song, because this is something that I would not have naturally pulled out of my mind, heart, body, soul, intuition. You know what I'm saying? This ain't no song I would have just, you know what I'm saying, slapped on the table, said, hey, I'm finna do some content on it. Which makes it unique, and which makes it a divine design. Even more so. Child, all that and then some. And without further ado, we're gonna go ahead and get into the contents of the song, the artist, and these cards. Now, something that I started off doing when I did these readings or whatever, when I first started off, deciding I was gonna be doing stuff like this, you know, answering my calling and my clear audience and all that. I started off doing these with a protocol of also doing an artist read. And I kind of fell off on doing that with the past couple of readings that I did of this nature. And I'm picking it back up with this one. So, while I'm going to read the song specifically and the messages that come through specifically for the people who are resonating with it, fixated on it, embraced with it, and embracing it, okay, for this video, I will also be doing a separate video for the artist, Sukihana, in particular. So, if you're interested in just learning more about her from an energetic perspective, or you want to know how and why you resonate with her, how and why she pops up in your life, what is the purpose of that, you know what I'm saying? What is the synchronicity that is happening between you and she? Make sure you stay tuned and make sure you subscribe so that you know and pick up on when that video is posted. And now, once again, without further ado, we're gonna go ahead and get into the specificities of the cards for this song, EveryWhere by Sukihana. Now, the common coloration is blue and green with some hints of pink. Now, there's a combination of blue and green here with some aspects of white, honey, which makes a turquoise type of color. So, baby, we got turquoise and pink together. Ultimate confirmation of etheric heart chakra energy going on here. And it is absolutely amazing as to exactly how that applies. But for the first card that we're going to get into specifically is that Ace of Wands over to the left, And that particular card is representing when I asked for the collective divine messages from, through this song, for the collective of people who are resonating with it, who are fixated on it, and who are embracing and being embraced by it. And we have the Ace of Wands. And with that being said, this song is on a frequency of a divine call to action for people with penises to use their penis privilege to bring more awareness of modern day oppression of feminine beings of all kinds. So this is women, transgender men, non-binary, film presenting non-binary people in particular, as well as film presenting gay men. All people who are film and film presenting, film identifying in any way, shape, or fashion. With that being said, there is an abundance of resonation that this song is meant to have with feminine presenting or feminine, heavily in tune queer men, transgender women, non-binary, people of that nature, as well as women, but women who may have gone through more of their life being perceived as more masculine. This doesn't mean that they are more masculine, but they have just been more predominantly perceived as more masculine. This is associated with power. This is associated with empress energy, big pussy energy, divine feminine energy, which definitely taps into the off-rip channel messages that I was getting off of this song concerning pussy power. And with that being said, y'all, I was given the specific term for this today just through scrolling on social media. But with or without that, there is a veil lifting on, in, about, surrounding, all around feminine energy, and that veil is being lifted through Venus retrograde in Leo, which is approaching sooner than later. And like I said, along with the song, it is a grand call to action and a grand emerging of more participation and advocating and more convos and creativity, art forms, organizations, things of that nature about and for women, about and for film presenting and film identifying individuals. So that's a whole lot of integration going on. And that is coming from the recognition, acknowledgement, and the speaking out about the way that feminine attributes, feminine energy in general is set out to be oppressed in the society that a lot of the world lives in. You catching the drift here? It's the EveryWhere. And that's why it's about multiple different types of groups and not just one group in particular, and not just women in particular, because it is bigger than just one group, because feminine energy is bigger than just one group, because even masculine presenting men, heterosexual men in general also need their feminine energy, and their feminine energy is also oppressed, and that contributes to many of the problems that exist in this world. And the Ace of Wands is all about new beginnings. Again, veil lifting. And this is a call to action for gay men in particular to use their penis privilege, if you will, for the avocation of feminine energy. Because whether you feel like you are the utmost feminine presenting gay man, you are still affected by the femme oppression that is heavily existing in this world. And for those of you that are in that category, if you've been surrounded by a whole lot of women in your life and a whole lot of variety of women, or a whole lot of the same type of woman repetitively, it is by no mistake. It is divine design. It is meant for you to have gathered an abundance of information and wisdom for you to use that to advocate and bring more awareness to the many different tactics of oppression of feminine energy and feminine beings. And don't get me wrong, it is a bold move. It is something that you all will have to work your mind, body, and soul around acknowledging and embracing the passion surrounding the subject and surrounding the journey, so that you are willing and able to take the initiative and stay dedicated and committed to the task and the goal at hand. And it will require thinking in a longevity sense. And that's going to segue us on into the next card. Over to the right, the King of Cups, which is the representation of Sukihana's energy, frequency, and vibe that she is giving throughout this song, what is being reflected from and through her for the peoples to latch on to in high vibrations. So, like I said, we got the King of Cups. Now, in case you ain't know, Sukihana is a Scorpio. Nah, this shows up as the king as opposed to the queen, mostly due to most people's perspective of certain energies, emotions, and frequencies. And with that, I also want to point out that not only is Suki a Scorpio, but the song has a snippet of another Scorpio at the very beginning. That Scorpio is Lil Boosie, Torrance Hatch. And it is a clip from when he was doing his Rancharama Shindig or whatever that was during the pandemic, when he had all of the girls twerking and as he said, putting their ussy lips on the screen. And so we got some duality going on here. Now, both of these individuals have a lot of unsavory imagery attached to them. And with that being said, the representation coming from that is not only for you to learn from observing their mistakes, but it's also about knowing how to use what you got to get what you want. And that includes your flaws, your dark side, your shadow self. And many of you that resonate with this song and with this artist, especially in particular with this card, because this is literally what she is representing, what she is mirroring to you all, and, you know, essentially how you all synchronize and resonate with her. So what I get is very emotional beings, very sensual, very multi-dimensionally emotional, which enhances as well as implicating psychic abilities, very strong spiritual abilities. And that is what both Suki and Boosie have. They have the ability to mindlessly and mindfully call people to action through music. And so that's why there's also that heavy implication of learning from their mistakes. Boosie especially, because there's a different type of duality going on here, child, and it's got me wanting to do some Boosie analysis now, so stay tuned, I guess. But so yeah, whether intended or not, Boosie has manifested and called to action quite a bit of negative things in the world through his music. And again, I say it may not have even been intentional, but just not being totally aware of all that he truly possessed and is capable of, that's what ended up happening. And it's not to say that he's wrong for making music out of all of his memories. He's not wrong for that. But Spirit is saying that artists and influencers as a collective need to get more mindful and intentional about what we are calling people to action to do through our practices and through our creations. Because it's like movies. There are a lot of instances where villains have become desirable or empathized with and things of that nature. And it's not to say that, you know, certain things aren't understandable and you can be compassionate and hold people accountable at the same time. But the purpose of this coming up, though, is when you make a villain in a movie and you have majority of the characters praise that villain or not do much of anything to validate or invalidate the right and the wrong of it all, it sends a message to the audience that is watching it that the villain is justified in their actions and that there's nothing wrong with it. And it can be very subliminal a lot of the time. So, for instance, if you are a person that makes music, you write lyrics, Spirit is saying that when you write about your dark side in particular, your dark memories, your traumas, the mistakes that you've made, be sure to be clear about the right and the wrong of it all. Because the world needs that duality. The world needs the compassion and the accountability all at once. And you have to get to a stable place of knowing how to do and be that for yourself in a multitude of ways in order to have that mindfulness when it comes to the energy that you transfer to other people. And if you are a creative person, there is an inevitable transfer of energy and call to action in everything that you create, especially if you are a writer or someone that uses your voice, someone that uses your words. Everything that you say out of your mouth has an even more potent transfer of energy. And that's why Spirit is saying that the time has come past due for the collective to get more mindful and intentional about the messages that we're sending out and the frequency of it, the duality of it, and what exactly we're calling people to action to do. And so while Boosie is showing up here as a, more so of a dark side representation of the aspect of duality going on here, the other side of that is actually Sukihana. Even though, she's not perfect, she's had her moments out here, and of course has her flaws and all of that, as all humans do. But Suki is representing the lighter side of that, whereas much of the music she makes, whether a lot of people agree with it, whether a lot of people, feel a need to invest in it or whatever, what have you, she is the lighter side of the coin, because the frequency of her call to action throughout many of her songs are to heal, have a good time, and feel empowered. Whoever you are, however you are, do the damn thing and pop your shit. And this is a display of divine strength that comes from a very naturally potent throat and heart chakra that she has. And funny enough, this even shows up and plays out in her sex life. So I ain't gonna say no lie to you. The way she calls herself Suki with a good coochie, that 9 times out of 10, the way the message is coming through is not a lie. And so with that being said, more ways that many of you all resonate and synchronize with her. Y'all likely have a naturally strong heart and throat chakra. And I'm also hearing sacral chakra as well. But the sacral chakra is seemingly charged by the heart and throat chakra for you all. And with that being said, another way that you all synchronize is that y'all naturally have that strength, but y'all's strength has also been enhanced throughout, more than likely, a life of people constantly coming at you, trying to break you down, trying to make you feel bad about being who and how you are. And for many of you, I'm hearing that people have often called you dramatic, or have tried to silence you, have tried to constantly gaslight you and make you feel like you are an habitual overreactor or something of the sort, have tried to make you feel like going after your goals or speaking out for certain things or speaking out for certain people is not worth it. And you all have stood the test of time and have combated. Y'all have combated the entire fuck out of those people and out of those circumstances, to a point where for some of you, you may feel a little jaded and a little worn down in the way of how Boosie's frequency and energy tends to transfer a lot of the time. Like, a lot of his audaciousness comes from feeling a need to constantly be on the defense. And for many of you, you're tired of feeling a need to be on the defense. And Spirit is saying it is highly because your energy needs to be redirected. You have to start fighting for more things than just yourself now. And that goes back to the Ace of Wands card. And it confirms and solidifies what the frequency of the song is giving and what the frequency and the purpose, representation, and all of that Sukihana gives, which is being a frontline advocate for a group, for a cause that is even bigger than her. Because I feel like I've heard her say something of the sort before, but it's definitely channeling heavily right now through this card and through this reading and through this song that she does it for the hoes. I was gonna say she does it for the women, and at the last minute, hoes came through, so that is not a mistake. And so what that means is that she does it for all of the underappreciated, undervalued, oppressed, hardworking, resilient, strong, okay, delicate and hardcore women's out here. And really, the way it's channeling, it feels like exactly what Spirit said, not just women in particular, but all femme beings, all feminine beings. And that is what is being channeled here again, that Sukihana has been through a lot of different lives within this one lifetime, and it's allowed her to meet and put her in position to come across a lot of different types of femme beings. Because I'm literally hearing it's not just women. Like, women is the heavy umbrella sense of it, but it's not just women. It's also femme gay men. It's also transgender women. It's also transgender men. It's a very colorful spectrum of femme beings. And all of that has fueled her passion for being an advocate of pussy, being an advocate of femininity. And the place that she comes from is just a different type. It's just a different dimension of divine feminine, but it is the dimension of divine feminine that toxic masculinity has tried to silence and eliminate, essentially. And that is why she, and those of you who synchronize and resonate with her, that's why y'all have been met with so much opposition. That's why some of you have probably had moments where you're like, why when this person says it, don't nobody say nothing? Why when this person do it, don't nobody have this intense reaction? But as soon as I say it, as soon as I do it, like, it's cool when they do it. It's a problem when I do it. Many of you have probably had instances like that where people turn all the way up on you for little to nothing. And that is a heavy reason why. It is because they are threatened and they have been taught that the type of divine feminine energy that you radiate and that you have been put here with the purpose of advocating for is evil. They've been taught that it's evil, that it's wrong, that it's shameful, that it's something that they have to eliminate. But that is a lie from the depths of hell. And y'all have literally been put here with the purpose to obliterate all of that and prove that nonsense wrong and re-emerge that King of Cups divine feminine energy. And what this is, I don't like to call it this, but what is usually called is dark feminine. That's the umbrella term that it is usually called. It's usually called dark feminine energy. But I don't like using that terminology because it's not the best connotation, and I feel like, and definitely what's charging through this message, that is not a accurate connotation of what it is. It's just another dimension of feminine energy that is needed, and that goes back to the duality. Feminine energy is not just nurturing. It's not just tender. It's not just compassionate. It's not just delicate and soft-spoken. It is even more so loud, outspoken, very sexual, freak, nasty, pussy, everywhere. It is also aggressive when needed, because those are a lot of the elements that you need in order to make sure that beings are held accountable. And that things are kept stable and in a constant flow of sensual, intimate, loving creativity. Calls to action for the greater good. And you heard me say the divine King of Cups feminine energy. If you haven't seen the movie The Woman King, and if you haven't done research around the real life historical elements of it, Spirit is sending a call to action for you to do so. And that may help you better understand, one, why the movie is called The Woman King, and why I would say divine feminine King of Cups energy, and why Sukihana would show up as the King of Cups as opposed to the Queen of Cups. Also, think about a running narrative, a running phrase that has gone on for the past couple of months and keeps intentionally getting louder the more women get more empowered in themselves. And that phrase is, all these women trying to be men. All these women trying to act like men. No, women are not trying to be men. Women are not trying to act like men. People have just been taught that empowered elements and attributes and displays of protecting of the self and empowering and loving of the self is masculinity. And that is not true. Masculinity has those elements, but divine femininity also has those elements, just in different ways, and in certain ways even more prominently. So just keep that in mind. And to wrap up this card, And, the representation and synchronicities of Sukihana with those of you that resonate and synchronize with her. If you yourself have been surrounded by a lot of sex workers, if you've come across a lot of sex workers in your life, or you have been a sex worker, and this means stripper, webcam, porn, go-go dancing can even be in the terminology, burlesque dancing can even be in the terminology. But yeah, any type of sex work. If you've been surrounded by those types of people, if you yourself are one of those people or have been one of those people, this is definitely resonating highly for you. And Spirit is saying that you are worth fighting for, and that the collective is worth fighting for. And it is time for you all to get louder. It is time for you all to get more dramatic. Stable, but dramatic, because you all are rightfully dramatic. The shit that has gone on in the sex work industry, in all industries that use sex as a product. So that also means the entertainment industry as well, fashion industry as well. The things that have been allowed to take place against feminine beings in particular, sexual abuse, and then some. All the things that have been allowed to go on in the name of feminine hate. Those things need to be spoken about. Those things are dramatic. Those things are outrageous. Those things are infuriating. So they need to be combated with the same amount of passion and the same amount of drama. Now, don't get me wrong. Stable. But the purpose is, just as resilient as predators are in preying on their subjects, it's time to get even more resilient about fighting for the victims and the survivors of said predators and of said predatorial dynamics and predatorial protocols that have been set in play to allow such feminine abuse to go on systematically. And like I said before, those of you who have penises, y'all have a high calling here. Heavy is the head that wears the crown. And y'all have a heavy crown to bear. But Spirit is saying that y'all got it. Y'all just don't even know how much y'all got it. For real, for real. But it's time to get louder about the avocation. And it's time to get prouder about the avocation. And what I mean by stability in the midst of drama, again, duality. It is possible to be compassionate and hold someone or something accountable all at the same time. And that's ultimately the journey that many of you are in. Y'all have been in y'all's testing journey, learning journey of facilitating and figuring out for yourself how you present duality and that balance of being compassionate and holding people accountable at the same time. And so this process is also going to allow you to make it more apparent to yourself and other people that is possible as well. Because while society has not been very compassionate to femme beings at all, that's a part of the challenge, and that's what you need in order to combat it. Compassion, love, that form of feminine energy is very powerful, and it's even more powerful when it's accompanied by the quote-unquote dark feminine energy. So while a lot of readings that I have done and a lot of people's focus has been around balancing the masculine and the feminine, this reading and this journey that you all are on and a part of y'all's life purpose is about balancing the dimensions of your feminine energy, the quote-unquote light feminine and the quote-unquote dark feminine, and functioning in them simultaneously and learning the time and the place for both. Oh, and with that being said, child, we're gonna go ahead and segue into the next one. And honey, I guess all that feminine energy, all that EveryWhere brought upon y'all a little impromptu love reading or whatever. So for this next card, I asked for what reflections of your soul resonate and radiate throughout this song for you all. EveryWhere. So this is essentially basically the dimension of yourself that the song brings out of you, that the song makes you more aware of or more in tune to tap in with yourself. What is it bringing at your child? And what this is bringing up for y'all, so the card is the Two of Coins, and it came out sideways. So number one, infinity. Laying sideways is an infinity sign. I mean, right side up is an infinity sign too. More like the number 8, but you know, either way, it's an infinity sign. And so this is spirit confirming that you all are on the right path, but y'all have a whole nother level of a self-love journey that you're also in the midst of. And again, that is tied into y'all's journey of balancing your light and dark feminine energy. What this is also giving is a need to get your priorities in order. And see, that goes back to the whole like needing to redirect your energy from a lot of things, because so much of your energy is going to a lot of places that are really not a service to you. Like talking about, for many of you, it's not that you are giving your energy to anyone or anything that's bad. It's just not really conducive to your purpose and your greater good. And so the better you get with your priorities and the more choosy you get about what you use your energy for, that's going to have a drastically great effect on your mood and on your relationships that really matter, and on your activities and endeavors that really matter, that are actually servicing your divine purpose. For others of you, there is a need to get more mindful about your breast health. I'm not totally certain on the specificities of why that is coming through for each individual, but I am hearing that for some of you, you all do have a hereditary gene for breast cancer, and it's just a need to get more mindful about breast health in general, the foods that are best for it, the activities that are best for it, you know, more prevention methods and things of that nature. And for others of you, this has to do with sex work. For others of you, this has to do with sex work. And okay, it seems like I am hearing be very, 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 very mindful of surgeries. If you've been thinking about getting a boob job, make sure you are doing the utmost research on the many different options that are out there to enhance your breast. And don't just think about the visual aspect of it. Also think about the health aspect of it. And keep the health aspect of it, honestly, at top priority in this journey. I can't say specifically what spirit is warning against with that, but just understand that it is in your greatest of interest to be sure that you really weigh your options with that, and definitely see what holistic, natural methods are available as well. For others, your heart chakra needs a tune up. So getting more consistent and more intentional in your heart chakra meditations, heart chakra work, and also the things that you eat that can contribute to your heart health in correlation with your heart chakra health. Now, into the relationship aspect of it, for those of you who are single, who have been contemplating on whether or not you want to get serious in a relationship, or if you want a monogamous relationship, or whatever, what have you, spirit is saying that you need to get honest with yourself first about if you are truly monogamous, or if you want more of a polygamous or polyamorous type of relationship, or if you're open to both, you know, what your actual standards are on that. For some of you, it's like you keep saying that you want a committed relationship, and it really has to do more with what other people expect of you or what you feel like you're supposed to do. And spirit is saying that you've been very fixated on options in every way, like seeming like a very multifaceted person. And so in being multi-talented and multifaceted, you're able to see, you know, all of your options across the board, and that rolls over into relationships. And if you've been wondering why people in romantic dynamics with you seem to have a hard time trusting you, that is a part of why. And it's because they can see that you have a hard time focusing. You have a hard time being present with just one thing and with just one person. They see that you have a hard time being fulfilled and satisfied by just one thing and one person. And so that's also why that message is coming up about getting clear with yourself on whether or not you are truly monogamous, or if you would be more comfortable or more open to a poly type of relationship. And for those of you that realize, exactly what you want, you want a poly relationship, or you want a monogamous relationship, or that you're open to both. Spirit is just saying get more intentional and more specific on how you would like those dynamics to be. Your morals and values concerning the dynamics, and like where you would want it to go and how you would want it to benefit you, and how you would hope for yourself to be able to benefit the person or people that you're in relationship with. Get more specific and more intentional about your needs and desires surrounding it, because Spirit is saying that you've been on a frequency of disbelief, not believing that you're worth it and not believing that relationships are worth it. And Spirit is saying that you've been keeping yourself in limbo and holding yourself back and stagnating a lot of your progress and stagnating a lot of your blessings by functioning in that energy. And like I said, they're saying that a way for you to pop the top on that is to get clear on what it is that you really want and what it is that you are really willing to commit to. And for those of you that are in relationships, I'm saying that you all have been in a period of it feels like stagnation. It feels like, just a time where the questions have come up as to, okay, do we keep this going? Am I still fulfilled here? Am I just settling here? Is there something better I could be doing? And Spirit is saying that it goes back to that thing of redirecting your energy. There have been a lot of things that your energy have been going into that have not been doing your own soul like a true service. And if you're feeling a little stale in your relationship, or feeling like, oh, am I just settling? Is there something better I could be doing? Is it worth me going? Do not cheat. Because I'm not gonna lie, it is coming up that some of you have been thinking like, oh, should I date other people and And don't get me wrong, you already know that you've made the decision that you kind of just like want to take some time apart. You want to have a little break just to see if it's like that statement of don't let your boyfriend get in the way of your husband or whatever. But have integrity about it. If you know that you've already gotten to that place where you kind of just want to see what else is out there, be honest with your partner about it and have that honest conversation. And like, just above all else, be honest, regardless of how they respond to it. Be honest, because y'all could, separate, and that break could be the best thing ever for y'all's relationship, and y'all come back even stronger. Or you could literally discover that your boyfriend was getting in the way of your husband, or your girlfriend was getting in the way of your wife, or your boyfriend was getting in the way of you having other girlfriends and boyfriends, or what have you. Just make sure that you're being honest about it, because if you are not being honest with yourself and others, you won't truly come upon what is meant for you. And even if you do come upon what is meant for you, you won't be able to fully enjoy it, because now you got all that messed up karma in the midst of it and other stuff that you got to clean up that you could have avoided in the first place. For others of you that you don't want to end your relationship, you just want to see how to spice it back up, how to get that passion back flowing, how to get that spark back going. You need a night out on the town with some friends. You need to go out. You need to have some fun. You can invite them over to the house. Y'all have a slumber party or game night or whatever, what have you. You need some platonic Three of Cups energy. Some celebration time. And some of you could even stand to romance yourself. Have a self-care day where you bathe, lather, do your hair, do your makeup, cut your hair, go get a haircut. Fellas, you fresh up your facial hair, you know what I'm saying? Get clean. Nails done, hair done, everything did. Nails done, hair done, everything did. You fancy, huh? You need to fancy yourself. You need a fancy yourself day, or even a fancy yourself week. And you can literally tell your mate that you need this day or these couple days or this week to just love on yourself and romanticize yourself. And for some of you, it's gonna make your mate antenna go up, like, oh my gosh, am I doing something wrong? Wait, or is it like, what is this? Because it's probably gonna be something that's so different to them that they've never heard or experienced before, that it's just gonna have their antennas going. But don't get too wrapped up in that. Keep it very simply stated, and just do you. Everything is going to fall into place. And for the most part, for the collective that is resonating with that message, it is something that is going to end up turning your partner on and making them more attracted to you, and causing them to have more respect for you also. Because while it'll be something that kind of throws them off and something that they've never experienced before, they're going to recognize it as an act of self-love. And you know what they say, the more you love yourself, the more other people love you. It's an energy thing. It's an energy transfer. And so you pouring that love into yourself will automatically radiate to the people who truly love you and make them love you even more. And with that also being said, because I am picking up a few people who this may not blow over so well with your mate, and you may find that your mate is very insecure and kind of wants you to be insecure. And this could be because they either don't have the capacity to understand what it is that you're trying to do for yourself and how that can also benefit them, or they really have enjoyed keeping you only at a fraction of your potential, and they really don't want you to go any further than that. And so for a few of you, it is going to create a sun type of tower moment where you may find out that the person that you love don't love you like that, for real. Like they may not have the capacity to. And so definitely light, love, and healing to you all in the midst of that, because it is very heartbreaking and frustrating when you want the best for people and those people don't have the capacity, or just truly mindfully don't want to see you do any better also. But to wrap up on that card and go ahead and wrap up this reading and segue into the bonus card that I pulled from the Rebel Oracle. You are being shady. Now, this has come up for you all basically because, like I said, a lot of you are kind of all over the place with it. Your energy is all over the place. So your energy is being invested in a whole lot of, and a lot of it is just not conducive to your divine purpose. And so it has you on a frequency of dishonesty. And like I said, many of you probably have been taught to silence yourself in certain ways, and the things that you are silencing yourself about need to be said. Therefore, you are operating on a frequency of dishonesty. A lot of you, like I said, the whole, are you monogamous? Are you polygamous? What is it that you really want? Operating on a frequency of dishonesty simply because, you haven't made up your mind for yourself. You haven't taken full authority over your own life and over your own purpose. So it has you functioning on a frequency of dishonesty. Also, for the folks that know that they are ready to break off a relationship and try out some new things, and you've just kind of been continuing on, going through the motions, not being honest about your feelings, operating on a frequency of dishonesty. And again, with the people who need that spice put back into their relationship, you've been centering this person and kind of almost losing yourself, going through the motions, not taking time out for yourself, therefore operating on a frequency of dishonesty. So this card is all about the frequency of dishonesty. You may not be lying or mindfully, intentionally being fake about anything in particular, but whatever it is that you're doing that is not in alignment with your morals and values, that is not in alignment with your needs and desires, that is not in alignment with your divine purpose, it has you operating on a frequency of dishonesty. And a physical call to action that's coming through is for you all to literally go out in the sun, go outside, sit outside, and bond with nature. And something so simple is going to help other things fall into place. It's going to help epiphanies come through for you. It's going to help visions come through and divine messages and intuitive messages come through for you to gain that clarity for yourself, what you need to cut off and what you need to enhance. And for the collective, all of this is going to go into healing not only your heart chakra and all of that and your sense of self-love, but it's going to help your sense of self-love through your solar plexus. All of this is going into healing your solar plexus and getting you that much more confident in yourself and that much more courageous in yourself, for yourself, and for the greater good of the collective, for the greater good of your divine purpose. And I must do say I have enjoyed this reading. I am both not surprised by some of the things that came out from this song and this artist, but I am also quite surprised. I don't know exactly what I was expecting. I didn't really set any specific expectations for what would come out in this reading, but all in all, like I said, I have thoroughly enjoyed this, and I love what it evoked. Shout out to Suki. Shout out to Suki with the good coochie. Yes. Okay. So yeah, y'all, this has been the spiritual evaluation of EveryWhere. EveryWhere by Sukihana. And with all that being said, child, if I do say so myself, honey, I have milked this couch right. And I am thoroughly appreciative for the exchange of vibes. And if you're feeling synchronized, please do me a divine design and like, share, and subscribe so that you can be one of the first to be back through these queenly quotas for the next time. And be sure to bless my comment section with your questions and conversations. And as always, I bid you all light, love, healing, and liberation. Emphasis on liberation. Mwah.